Jeannie Lane. Jeannie Lane. Taylor Hogg.
Good morning.
Morning. Kimberly Ballard Humphrey. Tracy Sadler. Samantha Garrison.
Hey, good morning. I'm here.
Morning. And Marion Luke.
All right, Vicki, we got enough?
We do.
Awesome. Okay, and now committee chairs that are on, if you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Know that today is Groundhog Day.
If you've already introduced yourself, you don't have to do it again if you're also an officer and committee chair, but if you haven't had the opportunity yet to introduce yourself.
Hi, good morning. I'm Natasha Mike for Social Services.
In Village, it's the Groundhog season shadow. Of course, there will be 6 more weeks of winter, Junior.
Ashley Johnson. Good morning, y'all. Social Services.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Andrew. Can you see me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good morning. I'm sorry. I didn't know if you all heard me when I introduced myself. Natasha Mike with Social Services as well.
Hey, Natasha. Anybody else that hasn't introduced themselves to the group? All right, well, we will move on then. Just opening remarks. I just want to thank everyone for joining in today. We've got a lot of information to discuss today, a lot of good information. We had a really good meeting last quarter in Macon, and just hoping with that energy continues throughout today's meeting. I know we've still got some issues as far as COVID and offices not opening and work being done a little differently, but it's just so good to see that people are still getting on, still participating in our meetings and still offering insights and suggestions. And so I know today's board meeting is going to be super productive and we're going to get a lot done. I did want to add number 4 on the agenda, the long range planning, that's going to come off. We just haven't had a long range planning meeting this quarter to discuss. So we'll be skipping number 4. But does anybody, in looking at the agenda before we get started, feel like there's anything that needs to be added to the agenda, anything we need to discuss during today's board meeting?
Looks like there's 2 number 4s. So
okay, the number 4 about long range planning, just strike that off.
oh gosh.
All right, so no changes. We will move forward. Ms. Vicki, if you want to talk about the minutes.
Sure. Has everyone had a chance to read over? Let me turn my camera on. Has everyone had a chance to read over the minutes from our last board meeting? And are there any questions? It was one of the documents that was sent out with the invitation for the meeting. Oh, and Rhonda also has it up on the screen. Thank you, Rhonda.
So do we need to give a few moments for people to look over that, or do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve, and this is Jan Prescott.
Thank you, Jan. Do we have a second?
Hey, I'll second.
All right, thank you, Samantha. All those in favor, if you'll just come off mute and say aye.
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 All right, any opposed? All right, thank you very much, Miss Vicki. All right, next, moving on. And I'm sorry, my agenda just kind of disappeared on me. All right, financial report. Now, Susan Boatwright, were we gonna just combine that all? Did you want her to go now, or you want to do it when we get down to 5? Remember, I think we talked about just doing one big budget when we talked about.
We did. Yeah, either way is fine. If you're ready, Darby, we'll just go, and then that'll be, that'll serve as both.
You good with that, Darby? Just go ahead
Yeah,
and doing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I was actually looking at the agenda, kind of confused about what I was supposed to do at which time because it didn't make sense to me, but that's okay. As
We
far
were
as
supposed to
the-
change it, and I think what I sent to Rhonda did not have the changes that we were supposed to make on it. So I apologize.
Oh, it's no problem at all. I'm actually quite ill prepared today anyway, because I mixed up the dates of when these things were happening. So for the last hour, I've been like, oh no, trying to pull it together. So it's all good. It's all good. We're human. The statement of financial position, which is the balance sheet, these figures are current as of December 31st, and some have changed considerably since then. One notable change is with the Vanguard Fund. As of December 31st, we show an increase in the balance from $55,693.29 to $63,418.29. As stated at the fall meeting, we will continue to work towards our goal of restoring this fund to $100,000. Our checking account balance was $9,532.59 at statement closing, though additional funds have been received since then, and this balance is currently sitting at a more comfortable level. In terms of liabilities, you can see that the amount due to the foundation has been cleared through adjustments and redistribution of expenses. We are pleased to report a zero balance owed to the foundation. Overall, our total assets are far greater than our total liabilities, so we definitely appear to be in good shape. That is all I have for the balance sheet, unless Susan wants to expound upon the changes to the foundation expense.
Yeah, so when we had I think this was at the Foundation Board of Trustees meeting, Rhonda and I have been going back through. One of our goals is to try to just clean up and simplify some things that are a little confusing and a little complicated to us. Of course, Wayne had this unbelievable ability to house so much in his brain. But one of the things that had been occurring is the Constitution says that a percentage of the dues should be forwarded to the foundation each year, which was racking up this balance that was owed to the foundation. In turn, the allowable expenses from the foundation back to the association, which is GPHSA. I mean, they're both GPHSA, but we tend to call that account the GPHSA account. Many reimbursable expenses that were just put to a stop when the pandemic hit, and maybe even a little bit before when the recession hit. So it appeared to us that we had continued to track the amount that was owed to the foundation, yet we had not taken any reimbursements from the foundation. So we selected last year to look at it, and it looked like the two would have been a wash. So we could assume from that if we had paid the dues to the foundation and the foundation had reimbursed, we were going to be very close to zeroing it out. So we called the accountant to see if we could, rather than spend hours going through item by item, which would have been another expense, or having him do it, was it okay to just put it forth a vote to the foundation to say, let's start off 2022 with a clean slate rather than go back several years and try to reconcile that. So that's what we did. We feel like it's fairly close. And certainly the amount of money it would take to go back and do the level of detail review would make it not worthwhile and would have us, would definitely skew the clearing out, because we would have to pay somebody to do that. So that is what was done, and the vote was made to approve that. But if anyone has any questions about that, please feel free to ask them. We wanted to make sure we were, keeping everything 100% on the up and up and doing the right thing by both the foundation and the association.
Okay. So on the revenue and expense statement, the budget, these figures are also current as of 12/31/21, which completed the 2021 calendar year and budget. In terms of meeting our expectations, about half of the categories were below budget. They came in below budget, though we also had other categories that came in, exceeded our anticipated expenses. The annual meeting was not budgeted for 2021 due to uncertainty of whether it's even going to be a possibility. So that expense for the annual meeting was pretty large. And as you can see on there, like $77,000 or something. However, even though it's a significant expense, it did also bring in revenue. And it more than covered itself. It generated revenue to cover itself. Fundraising and revenue expenses. These lines pertain to t-shirt donations, and the sales for last year did exceed expectations, but unfortunately, as we discussed at the fall meeting, the expenses had gone up, just like everything is going up these days. Though they did still come in with a profit of a little over $500. And I believe there are some considerations or talks about trying to find additional ways to do fundraisers and to bring in some kind of extra income through fundraising opportunities. Our individual and retiree memberships continue to be below target. So remember to spread the word on the benefits of the GPHSA membership. The donation line is also, that refers to the Nebel Award funds. And overall, for the 2021 calendar year, our income assets exceeded our liabilities by $15,472.79. So I would say that's ending on a positive note. The proposed budget for 2022 has taken into consideration how 2021 unfolded, as well as anticipated events and expenses already in the works for 2022. And it appears to be a reasonable breakdown, in my opinion. I will just say this, in terms of the Finance Committee, I will have nothing further to report other than what I've stated here. That's not unusual because I don't have much going on with the Finance Committee. And so I now make a motion that the financial reports be approved as presented.
All right.
Second.
There we go.
Second. Sorry.
That's all right. Okay. So all those in favor, if you'll come off mute and say aye.
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 All right. Any opposed? All right. Susan, was the vote right? Was there anything else that we needed to discuss in terms of budget?
No, we worked the proposed 2022 budget just using 2021 expenditures as an example, and looks like we'll be in fine shape. We are hoping, to add some additional legislative coverage in the form of a lobbyist or a liaison. And so we are thinking that we would do a fundraiser specifically for that, maybe around the spring conference. And we wouldn't have to do it just for GPHSA members, but perhaps the members could promote it. I know there's a no fundraising solicitation policy somewhere at DFAC, so we'd have to work around that.
Okay.
I wonder if we need a separate motion to accept the 2022 proposed budget rather than just the financial as a whole. I think someone might need to make a motion just so we've got it in our minutes.
I agree, Rhonda. So do we have a motion to approve the proposed 2022 budget?
It's Vicky. I make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Vicky. Do we have a second?
This is Jan and I second it.
All right, thank you, Miss Jan.
Thank
Okay,
you.
all those all those that agree, come off mute and say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. All right, so in this whole, like I said, we're going to skip the long range planning. We're sticking with budget and funding. We have Susan, the other Susan, really a team has looked at, I was going to try to see if I could put it up on share my screen on a proposed kind of scale for membership fees. Let me see if I can propose due structure. And we kind of talked about this some at the what's this fall meeting. So Susan Boatwright came up with a, let me see if I can share mine. Oh, no, I can't because Rhonda's sharing.
Rhonda may need to, let me shoot it to Rhonda and she can pull it up.
Just actually, Angie, I can give you permission to share. Hold on one second.
Okay. All right.
Let's see. I'm going to make you the host. There you go.
Yay.
And you can share.
Okay. Let's see. There it is. All right. Can y'all see it?
Mhm.
Okay. So we would stick with the basic membership, which would be the $4 a month, $48 per year. As you can see, there's the list of things that you would get with that basic membership, sort of what we, get now, the advocacy, being able to attend conferences, professional development. They would be able to participate in the Perks at Work discount. Some changes perhaps are that if there's a region that has more than 50% of staff as basic members, they could apply for a grant to pay for staff development, training activities. And then after 1 year, a full year of membership, a person would be eligible to receive grant funding from the foundation to pay for educational or professional advancement. And then we'd have a plus membership, which would be $8 a month, $96 a year. It would include everything with the basic. We just add priority participation in the Legislative Academy and winter meeting, and eligibility to apply for reimbursement up to $200 for damage to a car or other property while conducting business. So we've talked about this before. If you are a case manager and you're at a client's house and you run over a nail or something like that, something minor, and of course we would have to come together to discuss what those regulation parameters would be, because we couldn't, let's say if you're driving back from a visit and a deer totals out your car, well, that's going to be more than $200, so that wouldn't be something that of course we could cover. And then there's the VIP membership, which would include everything that basic and plus gets. It's $15 a month or $180 per year. And on top of that, you would be identified as a VIP member on the website and at the annual conference. You would be eligible for a foundation scholarship to pay for attendance at the annual conference if all the state spots are full. You would get a VIP goodie bag at quarterly meetings and the annual, and then you get an invitation to attend any VIP events such as legislative briefing with lobbying firm, roundtable discussion with DFAC's leadership, and then bonus beverage tickets, for the annual conference president's reception. So that is the proposal to kind of be introduced in 2022, available 2023. I think it makes sense. It's really gives, those who go up in membership a lot of extras that makes it worth their money to go up in the membership. Does anybody on the board have any questions or any maybe things that they feel like needs to be tweaked, or just any thoughts at all about this proposed due kind of scale that we're proposing?
Angie, this will be able to be payroll deducted. We can change it, right? good.
Correct. That's something we would also have to do is get with HR to kind of talk about that. I don't think it would be a problem, which is, and especially if we talk about making it effective 2023, that gives us kind of a year to work with them to see how that will work.
But the basic membership and the plus membership is happening this year, right? Or are we gonna wait till January 23rd?
Well, the basic membership is
Already, yeah.
right.
But I'm talking about the plus.
Right. Susan Boatwright, do you know? I mean,
So I talked to regional accounting. They said there would be no problem with the amounts. At some point, we heard something that there may be an issue with it. The $4 was what was said and that their system wouldn't handle it, but they said no issue with that at all. Of course, we pay a small percentage of the amount for them processing it. We do that now. The percentage wouldn't change. One thing Rhonda was working on, and I believe has this worked out, is, if you don't want to do payroll deduction, $4 was all you could select in the member
online
website. Yeah, the online, but that is being worked through. So we could move forward if you so choose with the $8, and then it would give us a year to promote the higher, which is, it's significantly higher, but we don't expect that many people to
do
I mean, this is like a VIP membership. So if we want to wait and implement both, I thought a staged might be better, but I don't know. I see pros and cons. So I will defer to, but there's no problem with the payroll form.
okay. So I guess one question I have, because in the $8, the plus, we talk about the reimbursement for the car. So are we ready to, would we be ready to proceed with that if we started now?
That is a great question. I mean, if everyone requested that reimbursement, of course, we wouldn't be able, it's like an insurance premium. I did check into liability insurance to cover that, and the cost of carrying the insurance kind of defeated whatever we would be making on the increased dues. So we, the thinking was we would try it and evaluate it, and there would have to be a group that would approve if someone submitted a claim. But in the end, we felt like it would be enough to maybe draw people to that higher level.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there needs to be, so when considering it, whether or not to approve it, I think there needs to be maybe something presented from the person and maybe signed off by a supervisor or something verifying, yes, they were out on, you know what I'm saying? Because I hate to be so interesting of people, but let's say I'm really going to Panama City for the weekend and a rock flies up and hits my car, but I come back Monday and say, I was on my way to a client's house. So I just wonder if we should get their supervisor to sign off saying this is correct.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's an incident that would have occurred at work, and the first course of business is, of course, to try to get it paid through work or through insurance. But if you end up with a bill, you would have to show that, you've pursued these other things, and you have a statement from your supervisor that says, this is not anything, we've checked with who, maybe HR, I don't know who it is, but there's an insurance, and this is not covered, even though it occurred at work, that sort of thing. Yes, I agree with some level of documentation. The other thought I had was perhaps we could try to do a fundraiser this year and use a little bit of that money, like $1,000 or $1,500, and set it aside
for this.
For that. And because one of the things that it, is going to have to be dependent on is the availability of funding. I mean, once it's, and if the funding is not there, then we could look to maybe reimburse somebody for the extra $4 they paid. If it becomes wildly popular, we'll know it's not sustainable. But I don't know of how often, it did happen to me one time in a parking lot. And, we also could look to lower the amount that, helps offset that cost to $100 if we wanted to be a little safer with that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I can, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I can tell you that the state insurance does not cover the employee's vehicle at all. So it's covering the other guy. Your personal insurance covers your car. If you were to be at fault in an accident or something, then the state covers the other guy. But these things that happen at the client's home and all that kind of stuff is completely on the employee. So basically what this idea may help them cover their deductible or part of their deductible or something like that, because ultimately it's going to be on them. The state, you're asking for like verification that no other avenue is going to take care of it. It's really only going to be on their personal insurance unless they actually have a police report with the other driver or something. But it's a frustration for a lot of caseworkers. I've heard many stories about damage to cars when they're at, or having to get towed or whatever, when they're at a client's home. And it's definitely something that needs to be reworked in the system, because it doesn't make any sense if you're telling these caseworkers and stuff to use their personal vehicle, but too bad, so sad if something happens, and most people don't have extra money laying around for deductibles and for towing and new tires and stuff like that. So that's just my 2 cents.
One
I do think it's a
consideration
benefit
is,
that'll sell it.
and one consideration is we lower the amount to, it's $100, you get $100 to help pay for something like that, and start conservatively and see, how much it's used. If it does do what we want it to do, that may be a less risk averse approach.
I think if you did 100 the first year, and then maybe if it went well, you could raise it the next year. Maybe.
Yeah, and I think like if you say 100, then essentially if something like that happens, then the membership the $96 you're getting it back. Like it's a free membership. It kind of pays for itself. I guess it's does anybody on the board, any board members have any thoughts either about the amount or when we should start it?
Well, maybe not. We can say up to 200, because I know in the South down here, we have a lot of dirt roads. And if it rains and they have to go and get bogged down, the worker actually has to pay the tow. So it may not be, the tow may not be $200. We can say up to $200. That way, if the tow is $70, we can pay that. And we're saving that, $130 instead of saying 200. Because some of these workers, if they say we pay 200, they could say, oh, well, I paid 200 for this bill and it was really 70. So maybe we can put up to $200.
Yeah, and I think it's going to have to be, and Susan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, more of like a reimbursement thing where they pay and turn in the invoice and we reimburse. Is that right, Susan? Is that the thinking?
So we can put, well, it's got up to 200.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is good.
Is that per incident or per year?
Well, that's a good point.
I'd say per year.
I would too.
Yeah.
Because it's been raining a lot down here. And if you, yeah. So with the rain and all, you could get bogged down more than once a month. And that would just eat all the money up if we had to reimburse for each incident.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say once per year.
Something else that we probably want to include or consider is some sort of clause, stipulation, something about their membership status. Because if they're not payroll deduction, then they may have joined in March and still haven't paid dues, or even if they are payroll deduction, maybe not submitted. So something about current dues must be, yeah.
I agree.
There you go. That's good.
So are we wanting to start the Plus membership this year? And would we start it when? Like, if we start it this year, are we talking about starting it when Gphsa's fiscal year starts or immediately?
Oh, I had another thought when Rhonda was talking. You know, sometimes you get into splitting hairs over when someone's membership started, and they may have filled out the form, but there's really hard to tell, like when the payrolls deduction started and that sort of thing. So perhaps we need to say for members in good standing for 6 months. That way we would definitely know they've been paying. It would have had time to catch up everything, and we would have had their dues for a little while. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think otherwise we could really get into splitting hairs over.
Right.
Well,
What
I
is?
filled out my form on,
Yeah.
October 15th. They didn't get me entered until November, which could be true, but this would just remove that.
Yeah.
To your question, Angie, about when to start it, I know Daniel is working and putting this on the website, this option on the membership form. So when that's done, it'll be an option.
Okay. So I think we need to take a vote of those in favor of this new due structure. So do I have a motion to approve the proposed GPHSA dues?
Angie, I'm sorry, I have one more question.
Yeah.
What is the priority for participation in the legislative and winter meeting? Does that mean you get first chance at it, or is that what it means?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Yes,
I
of
think
course.
there's like a limit of how many we can have in the Legislative Academy. And so that would mean like you get in.
Okay.
Yeah, that we would pull the participation from the Plus members first. Of course, we didn't have it this year, so
Yeah.
it would really be under the assumption that next year you would get, when we do it, hopefully we could start that Legislative Academy, in the fall, and you would get priority participation in that.
Okay. Thank you.
That's a good question.
All right. Any other questions? And I should have asked that before. All right. So do I have a motion to approve the proposed dues?
I move it's approved.
We have a second.
A second.
All right, Ms. Wells and Ms. Samantha. So all those in favor, if you'll come off mute and say aye.
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 All right, those opposed? All right, so we will move forward with the new dues. Right, Susan? All right, moving on in our agenda. Let's see what's next. Committee reports, yay. So we will start with Lynn Green with membership.
Yes, hey, good morning. So for our membership report, I don't know, Rhonda, are you able to share? Okay, perfect, thank you. So we currently have 1,753 members. 843 of those are individual members. And you see the little asterisk there. Rhonda has been working very hard to get our membership rolls as accurate as possible. And so we had some payroll deductions that were discontinued last year. And so within the past month, she has gone in and taken care of all of those. So out of our 843, 689 are payroll deducted. So that's a good percentage. I'd love to get it closer to 100% because I think that makes it easy for everybody. And so as we are recruiting new members, we're really pushing payroll deduction just because it's easier to manage. The member doesn't have to think about it. And it's just better for our association. You can see all these other numbers. I'm not going to go through all of them individually, but the regional numbers, like those have been updated as well. Also, I want to just real quickly talk about a strategy that I'm going to be talking with the membership committee about, but I canceled our meeting because it was at the same time as this. It was at 10 o'clock this morning. And so one of the things we have really been pushing over the past couple of years is join GPHSA and get involved. Join GPHSA and get involved. Get involved, get involved. Join a committee, get involved. And we've had a lot of success with that. But also, honestly, we have a lot of people that just don't want to get involved. But that's not saying that they don't want to be a part of the association. And so we are going to have some conversations about how to kind of shift our recruiting to also say, if you only want to be a basic member for $4 a month, that $4 a month contribution helps us tremendously. And there is nothing required out of you. You don't have to come to meetings. You don't have to come to trainings, but that $4 a month allows us to expand our reach. It allows us to have more members, which will have a bigger impact when we deal with the legislation and lobbying. And so it's kind of a different turn than we've taken for the past couple of years. Excuse me. But I think especially with the tiered membership, the $4, you want to be a member and you want to support the association, but you don't necessarily want to be involved in everything, then that's completely okay. But we still want you to be a part of our association. So that's one strategy that we're going to be using going forward in 2022, and hope that that makes people feel a little bit more maybe willing to join if they just think, I don't have time for one more thing. I don't have the energy to do one more thing. But this is a really easy, passive way to help the rest of us make a difference. Are there any questions about the membership report?
What are friends?
I was wondering that too, Susan.
That is somewhere along the line. They do not pay. They are not paying members, but I think they have been granted. I don't like.
I think SMI, would that be?
Well, SMI is a lifetime. Janet
Yeah.
Stats is a lifetime. Friends, I'm trying to think. Like I saw Bobby Bennett, who she used to be. She's BJ Bennett, who is part of GSRA. She's a friend. I'll have to go through and just kind of call those out. I don't know if that, I'll look, see if I have them on my main report. I probably do, but I don't really know how friends have been given a friendship membership. I don't know.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. And maybe I have and I didn't notice it.
Probably haven't. I think I added it this time. I was just going through pulling out different categories of our membership, and I just included it.
Okay. All right.
So Rhonda, where do county board members, where do those fall in?
They fall in under affiliate. So that's each
affiliate. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Because they pay, that's agency association memberships right there, pays for those board members.
Gotcha.
And I wish I had captured the number that I deleted, but after I deleted everybody that had not paid in 2021, then I thought, that probably would have been helpful for you guys to have known, okay, well, we had this many new members, but at the same time, we had this many members that were not paying. I'll tell you, I saw a huge, and I probably said this before, we had a big jump in membership in June, I think in anticipation of the annual meeting. Well, October, November rolled around, and I had a large part of those that had never turned in their payroll deduction form. So, after several attempts, I just deleted them as non-pay. So this year, maybe prior to annual meeting, we might want to think about another strategy for that. I'm not sure. I know we don't want to turn anybody down, obviously, but still, there may have been people that attended that meeting that probably never paid or joined. So
I think maybe that would be, I don't know, I mean, it's throwing this out, but maybe a requirement that you have to have paid or started paying before you can go.
maybe we could say we need to have at least received 1 month of payroll deduction or something. I don't know. But anyway, just thought you might want to know that.
Also, just that big jump in June and July also likely had to do with Darby's been helping me with giving me the list of new DHS employees. And that was the first month. And I had gone back several months at that point. So I reached out to probably 3 or 4 months of new employees during the June and July months. And so that may also account for that big jump.
Okay.
This is somewhat related, but not directly related. Denise had put in the OFI communique survey, and several people responded. She had really great response. And many indicated that they were interested in being a member. So I'm guessing that will get to you, Lynn, but if you need some help reaching out to those folks or anything like that, let me know, because I'm hopeful we could recruit a few more with the new due structure and all of the things that the one pager and the information you're sharing and all of that. So that was a great idea. I appreciate Denise doing that, and let me know if you need help reaching out.
Yes, and also I know, I'm sorry. I think every other week, OFI Field Operations has a call on Friday mornings. And I've presented on that call previously several months ago, but that might be something else that we want to revisit with GPHSA leadership and get on that call and see if we can recruit that way as well.
All right. Rhonda, did you want to talk about, maybe you kind of already have really, the new membership system?
Yes, and I really have. So where we are now is we have paid Daniel an initial $500. We did that last month as a down payment, excuse me. And he is building forms. And he has just communicated. I think I had a follow-up with him last week that said, I'm just in the process of building the form, working on the initial web page presentation. And so other than that, it is going along. I am in hopes that we'll have something final maybe mid-month.
Perfect. All right, we will move on. Vicki, you ready to talk about legislative and 2022 priorities and goals?
I sure am. Okay, so we have 2 main goals. Forgive my voice, it's kind of coming and going, so I'm going to struggle through this. But our 2022 GPHSA legislative goals and priorities are as follows. The first goal is to advocate for higher pay for employees, bringing them to market rate standard. Low compensation rates have created a deficit in staff numbers despite continuous hiring and recruitment, because long-term employees are leaving DHS for higher paying jobs with less responsibility, and vacant positions are posted multiple times due to no applicants or applicants declining the job due to the salary. And then the other main goal is to advocate for manageable and equitable workloads. The turnover rate and inability to attract new talent have resulted in long-standing unfilled vacant positions. Consequently, the remaining staff must absorb to the work and often cannot provide optimal service and outcomes. Historical data demonstrates when caseloads exceed the established and nationally recognized standards, the following occurs. The efficiency, effectiveness, and stewardship of taxpayer-funded programs suffer for all major functions in Georgia's Department of Human Services divisions and offices. The safety and well-being of families and children are diminished because the staff does not have the adequate time or resources to address the basic preventive needs of families, such as food and medical assistance. And then the priority of our entire committee is to advance protocols, policies, and practices that ensure staff are safe and have the resources and support needed to do their jobs. The Georgia Professional Human Services Association, GPHSA, is a professional association comprised of over 2,000 persons who work in or are affiliated with Georgia's Department of Human Services, DHS. We are professional staff who support the agency's work and work together to improve systems that support safety for children and vulnerable adults, strengthen families, and assure that Georgia has an effective and efficient system of service delivery that strengthens our state. Our legislative goals and priorities guide our work with the Georgia General Assembly. Failure to assure adequate compensation and achieve reasonable workloads ultimately is a waste of money and compromises the integrity of administering benefit programs that total billions of dollars. Furthermore, it puts vulnerable individuals at risk and undermines the well-being of families and children. Recent salary benchmarking indicates the pay for human services professional in Georgia is amongst the lowest in the southeastern United States, with the turnover rate being amongst the highest. Therefore, public interest is best served by assuring reasonable workloads and competitive salaries that promote retention. There is no more valuable resource than the people who do the work. Therefore, we must advocate for them so that they can advocate for others. And so in order to do that, we have already started looking for legislature that has already been produced in the Georgia General Assembly that started, I think, January the 10th. So we already have like 7 bills that's been introduced and 4 or 5 that we're following from last session. So it's really started off. And so Susan is scrubbing those, Susan Boatwright, and she is assigning those to our content experts. And then they are providing their feedback. And then on building relationships with our legislators, we are trying to focus this year in our meetings on how to advocate, how to find your state representative, how to advocate, what to talk about, the talking points, things like that, and to build those relationships, because that's where our power comes from, is to make sure the legislators understand what we're dealing with and through them make a difference for everybody else. So together a difference, correct? So that is the Legislative Committee report. Thank you. Any questions?
Great job, Vicki.
Thank you.
And just to add to that, Susan did send out, but right to like membership, or maybe I think it was membership, our kind of goals and priorities as well. So they should have gotten that in an email. All right. Did Miss Lane ever get on? Jeannie, did she ever get on?
I thought I saw her. Yeah, there she is.
All right. Do we want to have updates for the Education Committee then, Miss Lane?
I'm not sure her audio is working. I don't see. Let's see if we can.
And it looks like she's not muted, but we can't hear her.
Maybe if you could type in the chat. Yep, it isn't working. Didn't she just comment?
Yeah, she did.
I wonder. Do you want to try maybe to go in and come back in? We can go to the next one and come back to education.
You could also type in your type it into the chat if it's a manageable like report, if it's not long.
Okay. She says the Education and Training Committee has not met recently. We do not have an update right now. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Social Services, Ms. Mike and Ms. Ashley.
Good morning. So Ashley is a bit under the weather, so I'll be his voice for today. We don't want to have him coughing all over us and in the virtual realm. I'll say that. My jokes to him. Okay, the social services have not met recently either. However, I do want to share that we have increased members by 2 or 3, which is, I'm going to give an applause for that because, any increase is good. But we have not had an opportunity to have our quarterly meeting to involve and engage these members. We, Ashley and I, are getting together to think of ways to rebrand the committee to best attract individuals to the committee and find several topics to sell that will pique the interest but be pragmatic so that we can implement them into our daily work and home life. And so one thing we are wanting to do is rebrand ourselves, which is discussing, what that looks like with that rebranding so that we can attract some of those individuals and engage them, becoming more visible, possibly thinking of doing some, I know they have like the shine shorts or different things that are blurbs to, talk about things that the committee is doing or would like to do, and just becoming committed and getting out of the weeds ourselves as the committee leaders and getting with our staff, the members, and seeing exactly what are some things that they would like to do and would like to see the committee going, the direction. That's it for social services. Oh, we are meeting today as well.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go ahead and say, just if you hear my dog barking, I don't know what's going on with him. All right, Foundation, Lynn, can you update us on the foundation information?
I can. And Rhonda, I don't know if you can put up the documents. If we can start with, let's see. If we can start with the standing rules of procedure, and I'll just start talking as you try and get that up. But we met as the foundation met as a group.
Is that the Constitution, Lynn, or the other thing? Which one?
The other thing, it's the one, the title is in all caps. And the other one, the title is all lowercase.
Foundation, okay, let's see. Gotcha, okay. Let me see if I get that up there.
Thank you. So we met in December down in Macon, face to face. It was really nice to meet as a group and really talked about the future of the foundation. We had to update some documents. I don't know if you were able to see attachments before this meeting, but I think the last time that these documents were updated was 2012. So it was well overdue. And we really wanted to look at the best way for the foundation to support our members. And so we made a couple relatively small changes that I just wanted to talk about, and a couple big changes. The biggest one is that we are taking out loans. In the past, the foundation has done loans for education. And honestly, we've not had a really good track record of getting those loans paid back. And so there are a lot of opportunities for students to get loans now, which are more federally backed and maybe eligible for other perks. So we are taking that just completely out of the GPHSA Foundation. We are, let's see, that took out a good chunk of our rules, standing rules. We also changed the eligibility, excuse me, for grant funding. Instead of an active or a member in good standing, that used to be 2 years. You had to be a member in good standing for 2 years before accessing the benefits of the foundation. We are changing that now to 12 months to open up the foundation for more of our members. Excuse me. The funds are awarded in the form of grants. They do not need to be paid back. And they can be distributed directly to an individual or to an entity. So it could be directly to the member with like a request for reimbursement, or it could be, you know, we can try and make arrangements for paying directly to the source of the education. We are going to be reviewing applications. The board of trustees on a quarterly basis. But with that being said, if there are urgent requests for something that's coming up before our next quarterly meeting, then we can look at those on a case-by-case basis. We'll be looking at these using a rubric that we'll be sharing with everybody once we get it finalized. Just so that if we do all of a sudden get a lot of requests, we can finalize and make it clear to our members how we make the decisions on how the grants are awarded. We are requesting that the applications get submitted quarterly by the last day of the quarter. So that's the last day of March, June, September, and December. And then the, excuse me, trustees will meet the first month of the quarter to give a decision. Let's see what else is there included. Like I said, a lot of the information we actually took out of these documents because it pertained to loans. The amount, I think that's on the other document that I'm looking for.
I'm not
Okay,
seeing the right document. I'm still seeing the agenda. Is anybody else seeing anything different?
Rhonda, can you put up the Constitution?
I had it on my screen. Vicki, you're not seeing the standing rules? Does
I'm
anybody-
not.
No, we're seeing the agenda.
Oh, okay. Well, hang on. Let's see. Did it change then? It might be. I
There
wonder.
you go. That's it.
All right, so that's the standing rules. I'm sorry. I wish y'all had said. Thought it was up
That's
there.
okay. I think I've gone through most of that. Can you put up the Constitution?
Okay. Yes, I'll work on that. Let's see.
Okay, thank you. And so the Constitution also had not been updated, I think, since 2002. So we spent some time going through that and talked about the purpose of the foundation, excuse me, to build the capacity of our human services employees or organizations through the provision of grants.
Is it up there, the Constitution? Y'all see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
All right.
And so, I mean, again, it's to further expand the capacity and the capability of our members and organizations and to support projects in human services. The membership of the foundation is limited to the membership of GPHSA. So if you are a member of GPHSA, you are a member of the foundation. We have our officers, which we are kind of, well, we're working on those, making sure that we've got everybody where they need to be. And let's see, as far as membership, the membership shall be, governed and managed by the Board of Trustees. Excuse me. Trustees serve terms, 5-year terms. And each year, the trustee to fill a vacancy created by a retiring trustee will be nominated and elected. And so we will be able to then kind of cycle through new trustees as we go. This goes into expiring terms and death or resignation of trustees. I don't know that we necessarily need to go through all of that. But trustees will hold quarterly meetings, and those are generally the same time as our board meetings, the same days in conjunction with those. But we can call a special meeting within 45 days with the request of just 2 of the trustees. I'm going on to page 4, which is the method of financing, just to talk a little bit about 5% of our membership dues, excuse me, from GPHSA, and 20% of affiliate membership dues come to the foundation annually, and that's changed from quarterly. Not a huge difference, but it will be made at the end of the first quarter of the following year. We do receive donations, gifts, memorials, and we accept those, obviously, as part of the foundation. So as far as the amendments, this is being obviously submitted to the Board of Trustees. They will read it and vote on it. Trying to think if there's anything else. Is there anything that you can think of that I'm missing, Susan or
No,
Rhonda? I think those are the big points.
So in summary, like Lynn said, we really wanted to move away from loan and scholarship, move more toward grants, move away from not necessarily academic degrees, but move more toward professional development opportunities. And I could have this wrong, so you tell me, but the way that our system is set up, the trustees would have to agree, the foundation trustees, on the changes, which I thought we had, and then the president and president-elect would have to approve, which I think they had done. So we then do the board approval, and then we send it to all members, and we have to have a majority of the members who reply. So if we are not quite far enough to allow the board to vote, just say so. For some reason, I was thinking we were.
No, I think you're correct. I'm sorry. Yes, because I think all of the members that met in Macon, we had the initial agreement, and if it's been provided to Angie and Susan for their approval, if that's been done, then I think we are.
I'm under the impression we're okay, but Angie, Susan, if y'all are good with moving ahead, you've had basically the first read. The second read would be to the board and their approval, and then the final approval would be to the entire membership, which we could, get that out if it's approved by the board today, and try to get that wrapped up.
Yeah, so we need to, we good to go ahead and take it to a vote then? All right, do I have a motion to approve?
Can I just jump in real quick? One of
on.
the things that I think I forgot to mention was the limits. And in the past, the maximum lifetime limits were $1,000 for grants, and we have changed that to 1,500. We have upped that because we're taking away the ability for loans. And so it is 1,500 as the limit instead of 1,000.
Okay, yes, thank you, Lynn.
Before we vote, Lynn, if you mentioned this, I didn't hear it, but that's okay, because I was actually making a note about something, so I may have, well, I didn't notice we didn't have the document up there. I was distracted, but a couple of other things that are peripheral to this, but not exactly what we're voting on, but I just want the group to know. One, we're going to try to highlight a conference or an opportunity once a quarter that we would love to sponsor through the foundation for someone to attend that would not count toward their lifetime limit. There have been a couple that have come across my email that are good examples of things we would like to promote. And then one other thing we were going to do to try to build.
We had talked about that, and thank you, because I had forgotten to mention that. But yeah, each quarter identifying some kind of conference that wouldn't necessarily maybe be covered by our state funds, and we wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity to attend. And some of those are like a national child welfare conference or a national human services conference. And so, as Susan said, we will put out basically a request for applicants of who would like to apply. And then if somebody is selected, that, like Susan said, that amount does not go against their personal lifetime limit. That is one that is for the association, with the agreement and understanding that when they return, they use that information to benefit the association in some way, whether that is taking a topic that they learned about and being a presenter at the next, quarterly meeting or quarterly training, or being a presenter at our annual conference, but being able to take what they've learned and take away from that possibly national level and bring it back so that more members can also benefit from it.
That's the second part I wasn't remembering. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Now, Angie.
All right, now do we have a motion to approve?
I just have one question.
Sure.
For the conferences that you speak of, will we ensure that both child welfare and OFI each? Okay, I figured you would. I just thought I might bring it out. Thank you.
And for OFI, sometimes there aren't that many conferences that focus on the subject matter, but it could be a professional development conference or a professional development opportunity around leadership, time management. So, it may not necessarily be about a program. That seems to be more of that in the child welfare world, but certainly could still be something that would benefit you at work and benefit colleagues from here and about what you learned.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for asking. That is something we are really trying to keep on the forefront.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. We got 2 seconds, Miss Jan and Miss Denise. All right. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you all. Moving right along. Turning it over to Ms. Cooper for the 2022 annual conference planning.
All right. Hello, everybody again. It's good to see y'all. One day it'll be in person, and that's what we're looking at for the annual conference. We're planning on it being in person. We met in Macon. I have the list. Susan sent it to me. There was a lot of people that joined in for the planning committee, some on virtual, and that's exciting because we want more people to input to this. Some of the things, and we're going to start having regular meetings. We haven't had any, but I'll go back and see the people that were there, and we'll be sending out an email about that. First of all, we talked about sponsors because we always have sponsors that are available for different things. So we thought specifically reaching out for sponsors for breakfast, for lunch, for both, because that's where some of our biggest cost is. So that's one thing we're going to be looking into. Also, we talked about entertainment because that is a big thing people do look forward to, and it's a nice networking thing. So we have some things on the table, and we'll be discussing that more when we have a meeting. But first of all, karaoke. Everybody likes that. Also, though, we've had this in the past, it was very popular. It was a lip sync battle. So that's something we're looking at as well. And then, of course, having a DJ there for afterwards for the dancing and stuff. Also, for people that like something more low key, because maybe everybody getting into that, there's rooms over there to the side where we do other things, maybe having like a time where we could, just have games and stuff for people that are into that and just have somebody in charge of that. So that will be a possibility too. So those are some things the committee will be looking at, and we'll be breaking down into subcommittees. We also talked about fundraisers because that's something that, we have done in the past. One thing we call a raffle or even a silent auction. That would have to be in person, but we've had silent auctions in the past, and they were very, very popular. So people donate things, and so that will be one possibility. We've thought about somehow looking into chair massages, and people, we'd have to talk to the company and stuff and seeing if that would even make money. Even professional headshots. Sometimes people want that. So these are, and also the fun run or whatever you want to call it. That's something a lot of people like to be in, and they pay a fee and get a t-shirt. So these are some things that we're looking at as far as fundraisers go. We're also going to have a registration committee, and they're going to help. We always have people that put together the packets and just help different ways with registration. So that's another subcommittee, I guess you can say. And the last thing is we're going to have somebody that's going to be specific, or a group that is going to help with the agenda, help, like Jeannie with the trainings, coming up with topics, how many we're going to have, who the speaker and the keynote and closing speaker, and just how the conference will run. Because we ask, we've sent out surveys to see what people, too much this, too much downtime, too much whatever. And we got a lot of, feedback. So we want to try to go from that, because we want to plan the conference as much as we can to, you can never make everybody happy, but just as much as possible. So last year's was really great, and we just hope to build on that because we hadn't been to one in a couple of years. We're hoping to get to go this, September. So pray or cross your fingers or whatever. And so we will be meeting we're probably going to start meeting monthly, because it takes a while to plan the whole thing out. So we will start on that, and hopefully be one of the best conferences we've ever had.
We will go, because it will cost us so much money to not go that we might have on gas mask, or no, I'm just kidding. But, we are going to go. So
yes.
All right. So first of all, let me apologize, y'all. I'm on two different things because my dog went to start barking at me. He was at the door, and if I didn't walk him, I was afraid he's gonna have an accident in the house. So I'm outside. But was there anything, Susan Boatwright, that you wanted to add about the annual conference planning?
No, I'm looking forward to getting the meetings going so we can have sort of a collaborative approach to it. Just so I can get some feedback. It was huge learning for me and Rhonda last year. And, we talked about the sponsorships of the meals, and I mean, there's just some different things we can do, and we may not get it all right this time, but we'll keep, year after year, we'll do it. I think overall, it was a good conference last year, and I think it'll be a better one this year. All right. Do we want to move to
Sorry, I couldn't get off mute.
No, that's okay. I know you're busy. And so no worries.
We have the diversity and inclusion next. I'll go ahead and speak because I'm listed on there, but I'm going to defer that to Denise and Jan, and they can decide who wants to speak. But I just want to say this was like kind of my heart to get this back going. And I just appreciate Jan and Denise stepping up, and I'm excited about the training tomorrow. And I know it's going to be awesome. So whichever of you ladies would like to speak first.
This is Jan. I'll speak. I just want to say that we met with the University of Georgia. They're helping us. They're the ones doing the training tomorrow for the DEI. And me and Denise have decided we are the village. Because in a village, there's so many cultures and so many different people, but we all strive for the same thing. So we are the village people. And again, what Susan Boatwright has stated about the survey that went out, please encourage your co-workers, encourage everybody to complete that survey. It's not only a DEI survey, but it also is a membership survey, because in the survey, we do ask if they would like, if they're not a member, would they like to join? We're going to give that to Lynn to reach out to them. So this is like a membership drive also. We've had a lot of interest. Monday, I think it was Monday, me and Denise met, and we had like 48 responses so far with the survey. That's not a lot. So please encourage your co-workers. In as far as I know, it went to services and OFI. And it was really good. Some of the questions, if you have it, was do you know what diversity means? Do you know what equity means? Do you know what inclusion means? Do you know what they mean together? And a lot of people doesn't know what it means when you bring them together. And then, do you feel comfortable with who you are? I know we took out this question, but I thought it was a good question. Can you be who you are at work? Do you know who you are at work? Are you comfortable? And does your organization provide equal growth and promotion? We had a lot of maybes. And they want more training with DEI. And I'm excited about tomorrow's training. I really am. And I think it's going to open a lot of eyes that needs to be opened, because DHS is so controversial within ourselves. We have so many different cultures, different ideas, different people working there, I'm there, working here. But we also need not just DEI, but this is just speaking out in general. We also, if you know anybody in Division of Aging or child support, we need to really start reaching out to them and try to get their membership up. I've reached out to a few I knew with Division of Aging. They don't promote it at all. We need to start getting that really promoted with child support in the Division of Aging. But I've said what I need to say. I'm gonna turn it over to Denise now and let Denise say her little spiel about it. But y'all, and another thing, we're having our first meeting on February the 18th at 12 o'clock. It will be a Teams meeting. I will set that up. So if you're interested in joining our committee or being on our committee, or even just sitting in, please send me an email and I will get you added to the list. And then when I do send it out, if you know some people, you can forward the meeting. I'm going to turn it over to Denise now.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Susan. I want to start first by just saying thank you to the leadership of this body, to Susan Boatwright for having the foresight and the wherewithal to understand that this was something that we needed to embrace. And thank you to Susan for your efforts in the past and your guidance for us as we start to reconvene this in a way that's relevant to the state that we're in now, the state of the state that we're in now. There are some challenges that are out there. There's a new workforce. There are new things that folks are asking for, and we're happy to be a part of that. And then Angie, thank you so much also for the platform that you've given us, taking time out of what GPHSA is doing and allowing us to have this effort move forward. I think it's critical. And then of course, Lynn, for the work that you have done to promote this new minted committee. Jan and I are acting very much like we know what we're doing, but we do not. But with your leadership and your guidance, we feel really comfortable, I think is the word that we keep using in the survey and then also in this committee, that we can just forge through. And Jan mentioned it, but the University of Georgia's Office of Institutional Diversity has really latched onto this. They are excited that we are taking this mantle and running with it, and upwards of their leadership, their directors and all have already met with us. And that's kind of a rarity to have the directors of a particular area to meet with you. But not only are they meeting, they are presenting tomorrow, and they're willing to hold our hands to teach us what we need to know in order to get this moving forward. And in that way, we're still kind of working through what that will completely look like, but they have signed on, promised to put us in partnership with them and other facets of the university, including, oh gosh, it just slipped my mind. What's the institution that does all of the official trainings for the university?
Carl Vinson.
What is it?
Carl Vinson.
Carl Vinson, that's it. So yeah, they're going to partner us with them to offer at our quarterly meetings as we see fit, or as we can allow trainings and different ways that we can also be certified, because there's an actual certification that comes along with the training. And so you can opt in or opt out as much as you feel comfortable. You'll be able to not only take the training, but also apply for certification to be certified as a DEI expert for your area if you so choose. And so we're incredibly grateful, we're incredibly excited, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
All right, yes, very exciting. Okay, so moving on to the executive director's report. Susan, you want to start?
Yes. First of all, I wanted to say we intentionally did not list OFI in the committee reports because Tanisha and Jamie were not able to attend. However, if there's someone with us on the board who's been with that committee and you want to give the update, please do so, or I can read what Tanisha sent me. But I wanted to give somebody the opportunity, if anybody wanted to report out on the OFI committee, to do so. All right. What she sent, they really have, you know, that committee was not very active at all. And so I'm real pleased with the work of all of the committees, really. It's very inspiring. The OFI committee flyer was submitted to the communique, and that's the survey we just talked about. Then the committee participation has increased between 12 to 15 people per meeting, and she feels like they are really gaining momentum. They are currently working on an OFI survival brochure, which is tips and resources to assist staff with mindfulness and mental, physical burnout and work-life alignment. They feel that the committee is really being heard on the pay increases and supplements, and they're seeing some real commitment to that from the leadership. They're working on a list of the telework needs that things you need to have from working at home, such as stand-up desk, back supports, etc. And they are working on a proposal to submit to John Anderson regarding a flex schedule, which is difficult sometimes in, in child welfare and OFI, because you have to have people to cover the needs, but it's a real benefit for people who like a flex schedule to be able to work that, and it helps with retention. So I think they're trying to strike that balance. And she said Erica Holloman might be available during this meeting, but I did not see her on here. So I'm guessing she just was not able to attend, but that's a good report. They meet every third Wednesday via Teams. Second thing I wanted to mention, and this kind of relates to what Jan was saying, we are going to, I got word from Lamarva Ivory, who is the Deputy Commissioner over External Engagement. And her team would like to partner with GPHSA and co-host the road shows this year. So, and they will be DHS level road shows, not just DFACs. So whereas 3 days were spent on DFACs related information, it'll probably be about half of that. There'll be a large staff meeting that will take place over Teams. There's no way to pull all of DHS staff together in one place. I think we'd have better participation if we did that virtually. And then there will be some child support and aging meetings. So there will be a natural opportunity in at least 4 areas to do a little bit of promoting about the benefits of GPHSA. And I hope that will help in getting some more folks from aging and child support to join, as well as DFACs. So that's exciting. The first one will occur in April. It looks like it's going to be up in the Northwest region, but we have not reached out to anyone up there yet. So I know we have some folks on the board right now listening. So here's your heads up. I don't have any of the details, but it looks like we're coming to the Rome area at the end of April, still trying to work out some details.
Ain't been set yet, Susan.
Pardon?
There been a firm date on that yet?
Let's see. Yes. She called me late yesterday. Hang on, I'm gonna get my note. This is on my list to do tomorrow morning, once we get through with our, Friday morning. April 25th, 26th, 27th. But again, there are going to be a lot of questions around the road show itself. It's going to be very different. It will be a very light version of DFACs related meetings to balance out adding child support and aging. So, oops, somebody calling me right now, probably about that. So just wanted to let you know there's that possibility, and we will be getting to work on that in short order. We have the spring meeting coming up. We're looking at Lake Lanier, May 2nd and 3rd. And we have another opportunity to do a little bit of recruitment to a specific group within the division. I really appreciate the opportunities that the division is giving us to be a little more visible and have more of a role in the workings that go on with the division. So I'm going to let Angie tell you about who will be joining us at the spring meeting.
All right. So most of y'all should know Dawn Chris. She emailed me, called me to talk about her, and I think Jennifer Brogdon, who's on. They kind of do the social services administrator meetings, and they were to have a face-to-face around the same time as our spring meeting. And so Dawn approached me about perhaps using GPHSA as that meeting for the administrators, our training, and also asking them to participate in like their long range planning meeting, board meeting, just so they could also sit back and see kind of what GPHSA is, what it does. And so I met with Dawn, Jennifer, myself, Jennifer, I think there was one more person there. Maybe not.
It was Ashley.
Ashley, you're right. Yes, Ashley Parham. And we, they are very excited about it. They have already sent out an email to the administrators, putting us on their calendar. So this is for the North administrators, the North District administrators. So any social services administrator for the North District will be attending that spring meeting, that training, as their required meeting for that time. And so, I don't know if they're all, I would say probably not members, but just tapping into that resource, hoping that they take it back to their teams, kind of a trickle down effect, is very exciting. I'm excited about the partnership. We discussed, kind of what they're looking at as their subjects for that training and tying our training into it. Dawn, gave me kind of what they were looking at. I've met with Susan Boatwright to talk about, how we can focus our training that is part of that meeting in with what they are trying to focus on. So it's very exciting to have this group of individuals join us for our spring meeting. And I think it's a great partnership. I'm, glad that Dawn and Jennifer them reached out to us about doing this. And I just think, like Susan was saying earlier, it's another resource for us to get out there and, reach more people. So I'm excited. I didn't know, Jennifer or Susan, if there's anything y'all wanted to add.
Thanks, Angie. We asked for feedback from the social services administrators group, and what they really want is professional development opportunities. So we thought, what better way to do that than to just join in with GPHSA, because we always are encouraging them, if, being a social service administrator, you have the opportunity now to model the work, and what better way to join GPHSA and get some more networking and professional development. So that's kind of where we came up with the idea.
I love it and so appreciate it. I really want to I think we're getting a little bit of traction around just trying to be more about professional development for all employees and sticking to those themes. And so this is a great opportunity to do this. And then perhaps maybe we could target, I would love to target something for admin assistants that we could do, and attach it to the annual conference or something like that. I really love the opportunity and just appreciate y'all thinking about GPHSA. So thanks so much.
And it works out that the training is in the North District. So which is meant to be.
Meant to be. Yes. All right. So are there any questions about the spring meeting? I think Denise mentioned this, that we know we'll go ahead and offer at least one training option with the DEI as we want to build on competencies, but we will have others there. We also talked about maybe doing the headshots opportunity there that would be a way maybe to raise a little bit of money, to get a headshot's $100, but if we could get somebody there who we could get for a reduced rate because of the volume, then we could charge a portion in the registration fee. And then if people who want to do that could then pay a fee for the raffle or fundraiser, then that would be great. So we're working on some options to make it exciting and worthwhile in a professional and fun way. Any questions about the spring meeting? All right, well, the last little bit of business I have is, as Wayne has been going through the things that he has at his house, and we have taken, there were file cabinets that, I have the two that were in decent shape, but there's some that just needed to be hauled off. There's just some stuff that's older. And so we were kind of deferring to his judgment on that. And in him trying to clean things out, he has 4, I think, boxes of pictures from old conferences and other archives for the association. And we don't really know what to do with that. I mean, it can sit in my attic like it's been sitting in his. I just didn't know if there was anything more meaningful. We did move, I think there was a vote to use some funds to move some of the old reels of video to a more digital format, but this is mostly pictures. Any thoughts on that?
I don't know if you're wanting to keep them or not, but I know George used to always take pictures during everything, and he would have them to sell the last day. He would have them out and you could buy them for like $1 a piece. So if you're not wanting to keep them, but for people they mean something to, of course, some of them are going to be really old. Some of them people may not be there anymore, but it may be some retirees too. We might could do a thing where we sell them at a meeting and use that money for something. So that's just a thought.
I wonder if there is, I think about every year for Christmas, I have a picture book made for like my son. And I wonder if there's, would that just be, I was thinking if that would be a way that we could keep them, but we could, it would be a more compact way, not quite as just having pictures or whatever, but maybe books. I don't know. And that cost may be, really.
Would you have to keep the pictures though, once they make, is the pictures in the book, or it's like copies of them?
See, that's I upload it and send it into Walgreens, or I think I did Walgreens one year, and 1 year I did something.
Because you might could, the selling of the actual pictures cover the cost of saving.
Yeah. And I was just thinking what sad shape my pictures are in at this house. That are just they're in a bin basically, because I haven't gotten them. I was just thinking a way of, are they in books, Susan, or do you know? I can't remember what he said.
No, I think they're just in a like a bin.
Okay.
Yeah. And we could, we all have a lot of spare time. We could go through and take digital pictures of ones that we would want to put in a book that sort of tells the story of GPHSA, and then sell the ones that anybody might want. We also maybe GSRA would take some of the pictures from people we know have retired. They may be interested in some. And I mean, for a reduced rate, all we'd want to do is probably cover the cost of making the books.
Yeah.
So maybe we could do both. We'd still have the physical picture if we took pictures of the picture, as long as I think they'll do it like Walgreens, as long as it doesn't look like it's a copyrighted picture.
Oh yeah, okay.
And if it is copyrighted, we have to get permission, which George would give us permission, I think, if he took them. All right, I'm going to tell him to hang on to them. I'll get them from him and add them to my other hoarding tendencies in my attic, and label them well so they don't get lost. And then that's perhaps something we could tackle when we're together at either spring or annual meeting one night as a team building exercise.
That could be entertainment at the a room of entertainment at the annual meeting, going through the pictures.
It could be a workshop.
It could be.
Susan, I don't want to, I'm not volunteering for this at all, but I was thinking, like, if there are some good ones or some funny ones, like what you're saying, if they're not necessarily worth something and nobody wants them, could we use them and make kind of like a photo backdrop for a GPHSA selfie booth?
Oh, that's a great
That's a
idea.
great idea. That has your name written all over it too, Lynn.
No, that's what I started with. I'm not gonna, agree to take this on, but I'm just trying to think of a way that we can still use them for something
I
that's
like
kind
that.
of meaningful, but kind of fun. And I don't know, just brainstorming.
Maybe we could get Denise's balloon arch in there this time too, to the selfie wall. You can't have a gathering without a balloon arch these days. Don't know if y'all knew that.
Yay, let's do it.
All right.
All right.
Anything else, Susan, you have for your director's report out?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. So speak out. Is there just anybody that we haven't touched on, we need to talk about? Or anything anybody wants to bring to the table?
I just want to say I'm very excited about these proposed raises. It's got a lot of people excited about GPHSA because, a lot of them know that we're in there advocating, Susan's in there advocating. And so I think, and I don't guess it's official or anything yet, but I just think even the possibility of it has also done something for GPHSA. I really think it has. So, and good job, legislative committee. Y'all done awesome.
We distributed that anecdotal information. Thank you, everyone who gathered that. We distributed it pretty far and wide, just in case anybody needed any of those examples. And I'll let you know that we have a friend who is a friend of GPHSA who, by her marital vows of late, is at the Capitol a lot. And so she's not doing any official lobbying, but she is just in the presence of legislators and has had the opportunity a couple of times to weigh in on things. It's a great benefit to us, and certainly has a strong opinion about how the employees should be. And I'll tell y'all this, although you literally can't take it to the bank, but what I was told, the amended budget should be signed in the next couple of weeks, maybe even the end of this week, next week. And the amended budget includes that $5,000 cost of living that you would get before June 30th. So what I was told is that that would come in a $3,000 some odd lump sum sometime in March. And then if you divide 5,000 by 12, that comes up to like $416 a month. And so you would get your lump sum and then your new salary, which would be the remainder of that 5,000 for the amended budget. And then your new monthly amount would automatically go ahead and go up in April or May. Now, one day I did the math and it made sense. I don't have it in front of me, but again, don't take that to the bank, but that is what I have been told is how it will be handled. And I've been told that, there's a tremendous amount of support for it. So it's really looking good. Couldn't happen to a finer group of people.
Amen.
I agree.
I'm hoping that it
I'll
helps me
take that.
retain some staff. So that's my hope, staff retention.
Can I ask a question around that,
Yes.
Natasha? Just wondering, because I've been asked in reference to the COLA, the first part that you said, would that max out, or does it go towards your income to maxing your income out? And so there's a possibility that you may not get that additional.
You know what? Someone asked me that same question, and I don't have those specifics. And the answer I got from pretty high up was, and Denise is coming on, so she may have an answer, is that they were working with HR to try to work out some of those details. But go ahead, Denise.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It is considered a supplement, and so it will not count against your maximum.
Yay.
Thank you.
Or at least that was the way it was initially proposed. Anything can happen between now and implementation.
We're going to hope for what you're saying. Thank
Yeah,
you.
because we have quite a few staff who actually would not get it at all if it were going towards your maximum, because there are a lot of folks who are already maxed out. And so they wanted to make sure that everybody got it.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? Any other speak out? All right.
Well, yeah, just a reminder, I know we said it, but make sure, please, y'all, they're going out of their way to do this presentation for us tomorrow at no charge. So all of us specifically who are here today, and then, you know, others who are part of GPHSA, bring a friend, help us promote it widely so that we have good representation tomorrow for what's going to be presented.
Yes, thank you, Denise.
Absolutely.
Does everybody have the link? Everybody have the Zoom link?
It, like today's meeting, is in an appointment that you should have gotten, but that doesn't mean that you won't be tempted to join a Teams call, but it is a Zoom call. And you can just copy and paste what's in the body of the calendar and email it to anybody you think would like to participate. The more the merrier, because this goes beyond, you know, GPHSA. This is a conversation that's being had all over the world right now. And there's such a great, there we go, Denise says it, such a great opportunity for dialogue and increased respect for one another and understanding of everyone, regardless of if they are someone we consider like ourselves or not, in many different ways. So I'm just so thankful to Denise and Jan and Susan for, you know, taking this and running with it.
All right. Anything else? Yes, thank you. I've already copied them. I send it out to all my staff, make sure they got it. Okay, well, guys, I think this was another great meeting. We got a lot of things accomplished thanks to our wonderful board. A lot of exciting things coming. Please, please, you guys, any opportunities you get to talk about GPHSA in terms of promoting membership and participation, you guys are our greatest resource. In our region, Susan is coming to speak to us on the 8th. So we were we were doing good. And then I think some COVID stuff went down and it kind of slacked off. Region 4 was doing really good about having regional GPHSA meetings. So Jeffrey and I are working hard to get those started back. Just take opportunities, you guys, to really to promote, spread the word, kind of like what Susan Cooper was saying, you know, let them know that part of these things, these great things that are happening in the legislative session are because of our work with GPHSA. And share with them all the new things that we've got going on, the diversity committee, great asset, so that they know, because, you know, we always say that people always want to know what's in it for me or what am I going to get out of it? Well, there's a lot that GPHSA offers their members, lots of supports, lots of resources. So if you guys need anything from me, let me know. If you have any ideas, suggestions, always you can share them with myself, with Susan Boatwright, with Susan Cooper. We are open to any and all suggestions. So thank you guys for your time today, for your participation, your support. Susan Cooper, anything you want to say before we close out?
I guess I forgot to add it later, but anyway, there's right there at the bottom, but those are our proposed dates for Savannah. So if y'all just want to go ahead and put that on your calendar, and like Susan said, we will see you in person.
Yes, yes. Always love the Savannah conference. All right. Thanks, guys. You have a great rest of your week. And just thanks for being a part of us.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a great day.
You may have to end the meeting, Angie.
Oh.